Now
Probert's
got
loose
the right hand free.
He's loose with the right hand, and he starts to retaliate, and down goes Nyland, and the two of them are hammering each other.
Knights of Columbus, that hurt.
It's old-time hockey, the way you're supposed to play. You throw a little lumber if a guy gets in your way. You play like Gordie Howe or Eddie fucking Shore. We can't all be Gretzky's, the Muse or Bobby Orr's.
The enforcer of all hockey podcasts. It's the Biscuit. It's the Biscuit.
Six-goal regulation size of what?
The enforcer of all hockey podcasts.
God help the fucking day if fighting's ever banned. As our country will stop working on Sabatmas fucking cans.
Hi, everybody. It's the Biscuit Podcast.
Hey, you wanna go? Yeah, okay. Good luck, man. Good luck to you too, buddy.
Hello and welcome. You have reached the Hockey History Podcast. I am here with... no, I'm fucking with you guys. This is the Biscuit. I'm here with my buddy Shane Guilfoyle, the host of the real fucking podcast. Tell him the fucking name, Sean. Tell him about that bitch. And if you won't say it, I'll say it. This fucking guy has ripped off the name and just reads off fucking Wikipedia and is basically... what, he calls himself the Hockey History Podcast?
Something like that, yeah.
Fuck that guy. It's all about the History of Hockey podcast, and you're the host. You've been doing great work, buddy. I don't know how you do it, man.
You know, first of all, thank you. Thanks for having me on. And, you know, with a day job and a wife and two twin toddlers, I don't really know how I do it either, but my wife is that's a beer burp for you, by the way.
Hey, good, dude.
I was saving that up for you. You know, my wife is pretty cool, and I don't have a lot of free time, but she's pretty good about letting me do my research and write and record when I need to, and but you know, that all comes with being, you know, the other side of it, being a good dad and being a good husband and being there when,
right,
you know, doing the stuff you got to do, and
that's
then,
right.
You know, then you're able to do the stuff that you want to do, and so you know, in a very long-winded way, I just I do my research the hard way. I slog through the muck. I read tons of books, and I try to put stuff together the best I can. And
that's one of my favorite things.
Hockey podcast.
That's one of my favorite things about you. How a lot of your research is done how research used to be done through books. I think that's fucking rad, dude. And I cannot stress to you guys enough to listen to the History of Hockey podcast. What Shane's doing over there it's amazing. I mean, you could play it for your kid, your grandpa. It's a very important podcast, and I listen to it all the time. And it gets me through fucking shitty days and good days. I love the podcast, but we're not here to suck your dick.
Dang, I haven't been down that road in a while.
We're here to do one thing and one thing only, Shane. And you know what that is?
I think I might have an idea.
We're here to talk about the splendor and the glory of Colorado Avalanche hockey. No, not the history part. I'm sure you wish that was happening. I'm talking about current Colorado Avalanche hockey. I don't even want to fucking talk about last year. I don't even want to talk about the year before that. What do you think is going to happen this year?
All right. Let me just say how excited I am. Like, I am beside myself with joy about their new jerseys. They finally brought back the mountain range waistline design, which was so sorely needed. I am so pumped to buy one of these things that I can't even describe what I'm feeling to you.
Now,
so
I imagine these new Adidas jerseys are going to be even more expensive than the Reebok ones.
Dude, for real for a minute, I I am terrified at the idea of what the consumer end product is going to be, the ones put out by Fanatics.
Yeah.
The legit Adidas ones. Oh man, start saving your pennies now, kids.
Yeah, we're looking at like 300
expensive.
bones. It's gonna be like 300 bones.
Oh yeah,
Every fucking bit of it, dude. Well,
yeah.
Shane, unfortunately, the Avs have to play this year.
Yeah, the days of suspending operations for a year are over. Thank you very much, Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, until the lockout in a couple years.
Exactly. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't fucking wait,
good
dude.
Times.
Can't fucking wait. That's gonna be rough, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's just I feel like, and I know we're not here to talk about this, but it's like with this league anymore, where there's smoke, there's fire, and everybody's talking about it, and it's the idea this time around is it's going to be another full season going.
Woo!
Not these half seasons that we've gotten to experience in the 90s and then again just a few seasons ago. This is going to be like an 04-05 lockout where we lose it all. And
it's very reminiscent of 04. It seemed like all that talk was real, and it seems eerily the same at this point.
It does, and it just breaks my heart, man, because I am a fan of teams, yes, but moreover, I'm just a fan of hockey,
right?
And for the best league in the world
Hands
to go
down
again, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. Now you're not just like a Colorado Avalanche fan because they were good. You're from the Colorado area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I am. Just to give you a quick background on myself for those who don't know, so from a little town called Woodland Park, and just kind of nestled in the mountains, and so grew up playing on a pond out there, but through the magic of divorce, my dad always lived in Ohio. So I spent...
The magic of divorce.
yeah, the splendor of divorce. My dad always lived in Ohio, so my older brother and I, we always spent summers here. So I'm as much an Ohioan as I am a Coloradan, and I feel, as much bullshit as I went through as a kid, going through what I went through, in a weird way, I feel very, very lucky to be from two towns, both of which have NHL teams that I absolutely love, and I'm a legitimate day one Avs fan and a legitimate day one Jackets fan.
Fucking
and
man.
They came around at the perfect time in a kid's life when you see something, you love it, and you're a fan for life. So I feel so lucky to have been.
Not to talk too much about the Blue Jackets because we'll have plenty of episodes and time to do that. But I do remember, in the fucking newspaper, like, hey, Columbus is getting a team. Here's the fucking. I remember seeing Stinger for the first time, being not young but not fucking old, and being like, holy shit, we got a fucking hockey team.
Yeah, like being old enough to appreciate it, and that's just like, that's the perfect time, like 10, 11, 12, that's the perfect time in a kid's life for something like that to come along, to take a vacation with your parents to some place that might otherwise seem lame. Like, you just there's a certain age and where you've got to do that stuff and experience that stuff because you can really appreciate it. And so for me, these teams came along at the perfect time, and I've been a fan ever since. Everybody tells me, people ask me, they're like, well, what if, the Jackets and the Avs are playing each other? Who do you root for? And I equate it to having two children.
Whoever wins.
Like two children that you have, they're going to get in a fight, and you know that one of them's got to go down, but you just hope that it's clean and nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. Or you just pick your favorite kid. Well, dude, 22, 56, and 4, 48 points. We're talking about the Colorado Avalanche. For me, and it makes me think of Bill Burr when he's on it. For me, no one is happier than my wife, huge Red Wings fan. So anytime, she's almost down to watch the Avalanche lose just, to make her day. But this shit for me started, God, I gotta quit fucking saying that. With the firing of Patrick Waugh. I liked him as a coach, and I liked his tenacity and his spirit. And I think if they would have gave his run a little bit longer, I think he could have made something happen. But now it's, and of course we both love Bednar, bringing the Calder Cup to Ohio. But when you are that bad and no changes?
All right, so let's...
I know that was a whole lot of fucking words in there, but...
No, let's hit pause and unpack this a minute. So, all right, so yeah, the record, 22, 56, and 4, 48 points. It is the fewest number of points, I think, in the entire salary cap era.
No shit.
Yeah, so let's hang our hats on that one, boys?
Yeah, fuck.
And the fewest number of points, they beat it by 9 since the Atlanta Thrashers debuted, okay? In 1999, they had 39 points.
Good God.
So, they're 7th in their division. They finish 30th overall, and for those who don't know, at the time, there were 30 teams in the NHL, so that means they're dead last.
And not only last in, wins, but in most categories as well.
No, dude, okay, listen to this. Offense, 30th. Defense, 30th. Power play.
I knew that one was 30th.
30th. Penalty kill, watch yourself, 29th.
Ooh.
All right? So, just scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Abysmal.
In damn near every category.
Abysmal.
That's the way to say it. And as for Waugh, we still don't really know if he was truly fired or if he left on his own accord.
Yeah.
There's the thought out there that he saw what was coming and just jumped ship, saying, I can't coach this team the way that I want to. I don't have the players that I need to coach the way that I want to. This is going downhill real quick, and I'm out of here.
Dude, and he's a dude, he's like a Michael Jordan serial killer type. Like, he doesn't, losing isn't a thing that happens in his brain. Right.
He's not going to suffer fools, and I was on a podcast a few weeks ago where I retold the Patrick Waugh leaving the Canadiens story. And he got lit up and dipped out and was gone.
Dude, you could see his face. I know the game you're speaking of. It was like, oh, that he's not coming back.
Yeah, and there's I won't go into it, but there is a whole different side of that story that not a lot of people know. But the end result was the same. He got lit up and he was gone. And so it's It's not.
It was practically overnight too.
Oh, dude, it was within 2 days.
You know what I mean?
He got lit up,
it was
said,
quick.
I'm done, and 2 days later he was traded. I mean, it was that quick. So, you got to think that, he.
But I mean, his buddies running the team, like, are they do not like each other?
I don't know. I don't even know. Sakic said, "Oh, I'm really surprised that Patrick left." But Patrick said that he did give it a lot of thought. But man, how do you bounce on a team with 2 weeks to go in the off season?
Oof.
Like that is some cold-blooded stuff.
I think, dude, I think what you're saying has weight to it. I mean, I think he saw what he was going into battle with and said, "Fuck this shit, dude. I'm Canadian. I don't have to do this." Yeah,
and I, and maybe part of it was his realization that this is not working out. I'm going to need or want another job in the NHL in the future someday. Before I get dragged through the mud again this season, I better just leave now. And, there is plenty of thought out there that he could eventually resurface with another team. And
I thought he would have by
now.
now.
They do, who knows? But it could have been a saving face move.
Yeah, I honestly thought we'd see him behind the bench or on the bench by now.
I thought he'd be coaching Montreal until Claude Julien took the job.
Yeah, and
honest to God, 100%. That's what I thought.
Well, I think once I saw Claude get fired, and then how Montreal dipped out on old boy there, I was like, "Oh, Claude Julien's going to fucking." I mean, but it wouldn't. Here's the more important question: who has the fatter dick, Sakic or Waugh?
Oh.
It's got to be Waugh.
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be Waugh because Sakic hasn't done anything but sit on his hands.
Right. And how long's he been the GM over there?
4 seasons.
So they haven't done dick in 4 years.
Not really. I mean, they had the division title win in 13-14 with 112 points. And then after that, 14-15, they had 90. 15-16, they had 82. And then last year they had 48. So
what happened to that team 4 years ago?
It's been nothing but downhill since that Central Division win.
What happened to that team?
I think because before Patrick Waugh came into the NHL as a coach, he was the owner, general manager, and coach of the junior Quebec Remparts.
What the fuck is a Rempart? Like the band that does the Friends song?
Is that the Ramparts?
Fuck yeah, it is, dude.
Okay.
Good tune.
Yeah. So he coached them to a championship title their first year. So it's like in his first year, he really just does nothing but kick ass.
What league was that?
What's QMJHL?
Oh, okay.
Now this is just what I've heard. This isn't really an observation of mine. Is that he's got just this one trick, and it's how to play in junior hockey, and it's very different from playing NHL hockey. And he was just never very good defensively with his teams, and so that worked the first year where they took everybody by surprise.
Right.
But then the year after that, everybody was onto their game, and they knew they knew how to stop them, and they knew how to counter.
Well, there's a thing, and it's a real thing, like being able to coach men and being able to coach boys. There's a fucking difference.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and regardless, I mean, if you're in juniors, you're technically a professional athlete, but you can get kids to buy in a lot more than a professional athlete that's making, $6, $7, $4 million a year, who doesn't have to fucking really listen to you. Like, he doesn't have to buy into your shit. Like, he could do whatever he wants.
Exactly. He's a grown man at that point. I mean, there are players on teams. And those players are so popular and so good and so well paid that there are people that are called coach killers. They can have the coach driven out of town. Dude,
a sense of comfortability too. Like, if this is my room, bitch.
Yeah.
I've never sat.
I'm Ovechkin, or I'm so and so. Like,
right. I've never sat in a professional room, but that shit happens.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because it's
and you don't like to think that it does, because you'd like to think that they are all professional and they're all above that. But at the end of the day, they're all still humans.
And the thing about being a human too, it's their job. Like, so people go, "How can a mortician do?" Dude, you get so used to fucking filling dead bodies full of shit. It's just another day at the office. So for some of these guys, maybe sooner than later, even with them, it's. The love and the passion for hockey is there, but it's still like, oh, I have to be at the rink at this time. I show up when I'm obligated to. I play. I get paid. Bye.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, a player's career, even the long ones, are so short that they almost don't have time for bullshit.
No.
They want to get in there, they want to win, and they want to leave their mark on the game.
It's not professional golf, dude.
Right.
Like, there's dudes 6'5" flying around at 30 miles per hour. But yet Jared Bull sucks at hockey and has been in the league for 10 years.
Oh yeah, he must be terrible.
Dude can't play. Sucks in the room. Get him out of the league. Corsi said so.
Yeah, and I heard a similar story about John Scott. How now, take this story for what it is, but he, for those who don't know, John Scott, retired NHL player, just big, bruising kind of guy.
Big, like 6'8", big.
Yeah, just a monster. So he's got a buddy, I guess, from college who he's visiting.
Michigan Tech.
And his buddy plays beer league, and he says, "John, come on, just come to my beer league game. The guys won't believe it." And so now apparently the other team had some college players on it.
Oh.
And these college players thought they were hot shit. They're like, "Oh, John Scott, really? Like, we're gonna work this dude." Like, they were taunting him, being just real douchebags about it. And John Scott, who has been billed as nothing more than a goon, a bruiser, can't do anything,
all the
get him
worst
out
of
the
it,
league,
all the worst of it,
lit them up,
dude,
and lit them up so badly that they came back with that. These college players came by at the end of the game with their tails between their legs, asking for autographs and handshake and all this stuff.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
I mean, he just humbled them from the story that I heard.
Dude, he is probably thinking, you little faggots, not only did I graduate from Michigan Tech, like, the fucking prestige of that school.
Dude, he's a smart guy.
He is not a dummy. He didn't have to play professional hockey.
Not at all.
Is he like a molecular fucking engineer or some crazy shit?
Dude, it's something ridiculous.
So he does it because if I remember correctly from reading parts of his book, like, his wife was like, "You need to go do this. Like, this this is a challenge that you need to accept, and you have the talent to do it." And he did it. He fucking played.
I feel like maybe I read, and maybe it is from his book, I don't remember, but they made a deal that it was going to be a 3-year experiment.
Yes.
And he did it.
And I was pissed during the whole All-Star voting thing because it seemed like people did. It was like a cruel joke, like a Carey type situation.
I would agree, and that's the feeling I got from the beginning. But joke or not, he turned it into a huge positive,
dude.
And that was the best response.
There was
vote me in as a joke, will you? Well, I'll show you.
I'll get fucking MVP of the All-Star game.
Yeah, and I'll get a book deal, and I'll get a movie deal. Suck it.
And I'll smile the whole time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
has a fake fight with Patrick Kane, which was like, for me, was just like the funny best part of the night.
That I was worried that Patrick Kane was going to try to rape him. That was the only that was the only part I was worried about, as I thought there might be a date rape situation going on there. But I was pissed until it came around to seeing John Scott out there with the boys and seeing how happy they were to see him and how well he played hockey.
Man, those were the people who really, really matter. The ones who were on the ice, who you could tell they were so genuinely happy for him to be where he was.
Dude, and watching him...
They carried him off the ice, for God's sake.
Dude, that is not an easy feat. He's huge.
Yeah, well, that's why it took 20 of them to pick him up.
Watching him fucking snipe, you know, some fucking shots out, dude, on 3-on-3 when they were like, oh, fucking bullshit. One, it's the All-Star game. Nobody's really, you know, going balls out, but it was fucking fun to see him do that shit.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it introduced...
The only people who should be taking the All-Star game seriously are 10-year-old kids.
Right, exactly. And dude, Big Ran, he takes it a little too seriously because he's a 10-year-old in the brain.
And that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
fuck
so
yeah.
great.
Why? I wish I could watch it with that fucking state of mind. I tried to. That's the cool thing about having, you know, a 7-year-old. He's like, holy shit, look at all these dudes on the ice at the same time. To him, he's not seeing these guys, you know, float around. He's seeing fucking, you know, Cam Atkinson and Seth Jones and Brovowski play hockey with fucking Burnsy and goddamn, you know, it's just the craziest shit he's ever seen. Like video game shit. Dude you trade to make teams for, you know?
Exactly, yeah. The only time you see those teams are the All-Star game and then the ones you create on NHL. And
as far as, like, professional sports go, it is the more competitive All-Star game. I mean, the Pro Bowl football is fucking garbage. Basketball is a fucking joke as a whole sport now. And baseball, there's no reason to have that game.
Yeah, it's...
Not baseball, I'm saying baseball's All-Star
game.
game.
Going away from the All-Star game determining home field advantage in the World Series?
They have to. I mean, they
because
have.
If they're not doing it already, they need to, because that is the dumbest thing.
That's the craziest shit ever.
Yeah. How you have an exhibition game determine World Series home field advantage? Like, you might as well bring back the Expos and just have them play somebody and say, yep, this determines home field advantage for the series.
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, what's the Memorial Cup, where they're just like, well, the host gets to play.
Yeah, that's always been weird to me, too.
I don't get that. That must be a fucking Canadian thing. I don't fucking get it. Like, I would not even want... I'd be like, why the fuck are they even here? They could finish dead last and still play and win. Didn't the host win this year?
I think so. Was it the Spitfires?
Yeah, Windsor.
Yeah.
They sure fucking did, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
we had logo, by the way.
Fucking A, dude. There's a lot of good logos in the fucking Canadian Hockey League there.
Yeah.
Well, we've done everything but talk Avalanche hockey here.
Damn it, you noticed.
Surprise, surprise.
Well, you know, I think actually, I think you left off with, and I don't want to steer the conversation too much. Obviously, it's your show, but
yeah, don't you fucking forget it, bud.
With coaching staff, and Jared Bednar was retained, but Tim Army, the assistant coach on offense, Dave Farish on defense, and Francois Allaire, the goaltending coach, they all got let go. Now,
really?
Whether or not that means anything, and whether or not they do anything to really replace them, and what results those have, I have no idea. Oh, and Adam Foote, the defensive consultant, I guess, maybe that was his title. He just bailed. He quit like 2 weeks ago. Pieces are just dropping left and right over there.
You know why Foote's leaving? He's going to go down to Tampa.
Is that a thing?
I believe his son just got drafted by Stevie Y.
Oh, I didn't even put those together.
Right?
Oh my gosh!
I'm pretty sure it was Tampa Bay who drafted him.
Oh wow,
dude, that's where
I need to look that up.
I'm pretty sure it was Tampa Bay who drafted him. And Stevie Y knows Adam very well from some of the games they had against each other.
Oh yeah.
And Stevie's top 3 GMs in the league. So why wouldn't you have Adam Foote come fucking help?
Yes, Yzerman he's a freaking Jedi.
He is. That's the best way to describe him, dude. I've never heard him described better than that. He is a fucking Jedi.
And can you have a better result than the Jonathan Drouin situation? The kid throws a fit.
Yeah.
He says, screw you. You are 17, 18, 19, whatever he was. I don't even know. Kid throws a fit thinking he's going to push around Steve Yzerman.
That was the best part. He's like,
okay,
bitch, I'm Steve Yzerman.
And then when his stock goes back up and
bye-bye.
May have stayed, he trades him. I love that.
The best part is, in my brain, is I think he wanted to stay, and Stevie was just like, dude, this worked out so perfect for me.
Just a murderer.
And the kid they got is supposed to be one of the top prospects as far as defense goes.
Yeah, I don't know much about the cat that they got back, but one thing's for sure, Yzerman would not have made that move if it were not the right one. No,
the only one I ever question is, I still think Ben Bishop should have stayed in Tampa Bay, but the verdict's out on that.
Remains to be seen. We'll see what Vasilevsky does.
Exactly.
And,
we'll see what he does on a whole season and what happens in Dallas.
Yeah, man. Dallas scares the crap out of me.
Dude, my center ice is going to be watching a lot of fucking Dallas Stars hockey, I imagine.
They're going to, if nothing else, they're going to be fun as hell to watch.
For sure, dude. Fucking Pantera song when they score at home. Fucking Tyler Sagan's showing up, fucking blowing down cocaine in the fucking locker room. It's a fucking... And Radulov? Come on!
Oh, yeah. Radulov is really what tipped the scales for me. I really liked their Ben Bishop pickup, but Radulov, I was like, dude... This is for real now.
Yeah,
I think they're going to win the division. I really do.
Dude, I decided that this morning. I'm not even joking.
All right, we're on the same page then.
I'm not even joking. This morning I was sitting fucking daydreaming. I was like, you know who's going to win the fucking... They're in the Central, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know who's going to win the fucking... After my conversation with my buddy Gatekeeper from Chicago, I was like... Dallas that's what Hitchcock can do. He can win a division all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Come playoff time, they're fucked.
When he took over for St. Louis, when they were just, they were terrible. They were over, and they fired their coach. They brought in Hitch, and they just, it was pedal to the metal from like 15 games into the season, and I'm pretty sure they won the division that year, made the playoffs, and made some real noise. All it took was him just he just unlocked that door. Like he was just he was the one with the key, and he unlocked them. What
you always hear about Hitch is I think he's got about 1 or 2 years, and the players start to fucking hate him. So Dallas has about.
But you know what, man? Maybe that's all he needs,
dude. That's all Dallas has.
In Dallas is to win a cup.
That's all Dallas has is 1 or 2 years, and that team's fucking done. So he is perfect hire.
Yeah.
What was his record in Columbus?
Well, we made the playoffs with him the one year.
That first time we made it?
Well, because he came in midway through, and they missed. So that would have been 07, 08. And then, then 08, 09, they made it. And then halfway through the next season, they canned him. And then that was it. He was done in Columbus.
Yeah.
And then he was on the staff until St. Louis hired him in 11 or 12, whatever that was.
Right. I didn't like him in Columbus, but that's for another tale. Okay. So Bernier, he's going to start in net, right?
I want to say something about the goaltenders real quick. How Calvin Pickard does not get protected is freaking so beyond me that my brain hurts.
That's the one dude you have to protect.
Yeah. And he gets freaking taken by Vegas. And dude, I'm a fan of Vegas now. Dude, just because of some of the cats they picked up. Dude,
when their initial team that they drafted, I wish that was the team that was skating out, because that team would have been nasty as fuck.
They could have made some noise.
Yeah, for sure.
Some noise, but I totally get it. You draft people to make moves and other stuff, and you got to have more of a plan than just that 1 year out the gate. But
I think I'd play it the other way. I'd say fuck it, and I'm going to win this year.
That's an angle too. I've got a good buddy who I don't know how to say this. He works with the Jackets, but anyway, he was certain. He's like, man, if they would just hire me, I could get them to the playoffs year one. And I have no doubt that he could, because he's a smart guy. But
dude,
there's that angle too. Just go balls to the wall and see if you can make the playoffs in your first year.
Because what are the chances you're going to be the GM for more than 4 years anyhow?
Yeah, unless you're David Poyle in a Nashville situation where they just hitch their wagon to you and they're like, you are the man, get us to the promised land, and they just keep giving you chance after chance, and you keep showing them a little bit of success year after year like Poyle did. GMs are not long for this world.
No, absolutely not, man. And they had some tough dudes on their team too. They ended up ultimately trading them all, but I wanted to see Thorburn stay in Las Vegas, dude.
I'd like to see quite a few of them stay.
Yeah, but having, like you said, losing Pickard to Vegas, and they kept him. He's going to be sitting behind fucking Flower.
He's going to be sitting behind Fleury.
Dude.
That's a freaking good duo. The last 3 seasons, statistically, Pickard outperformed Varlamov. And last I checked, Varlamov was supposed to be the starter for Colorado.
Right.
So
they really like him up there.
He's coming off. I think it's hip surgery and groin surgery or something like that.
Oh, that's good for a goalie.
If he falters, Bernier's the guy. And if Bernier's the guy and Spencer Martin has to come in, forget it. Season is done. I think the season's already over anyway, but
yeah.
What a dumb move to not protect picks.
The most I've seen of Bernier, I guess I would say the last I've seen of him was when he was put in the playoffs for some odd reason, and he fucking sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Aside from just being a true backup and just coming in once in a while on mop-up duty, maybe that's his game. I don't see him taking the reins.
I mean, and if you're going from backup in Anaheim to starting in Colorado, that's a different business.
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing a few more biscuits coming your way.
Yeah, especially with a Swiss cheese defense.
There's no reason to even put a pair out on defense.
Yeah, I mean, when Tyson Barrie, Eric Johnson, and Mike Barbario are currently your only 3 signed defensemen.
Yeah, do they even have enough people to play this year?
I don't know.
I literally don't know what the fuck's going on.
I have their depth chart, but I mean, it's nothing to. All right, you know what? Can we talk depth chart for a minute?
Yeah, do it.
All right, left wing, Gabe Landeskog.
I like him. I like him.
I do. I wouldn't mind trading him just to get pieces that are needed, because for me, what I think this team is Nathan McKinnon, and every step forward needs to start with him. So Gabe Landeskog, trade him.
Okay.
Sven Andrighetto, Colin Wilson, Matt Nieto, AJ Greer. Center, Nathan McKinnon. Matt Duchene, trade him.
Maybe.
Tyson Jost, TJ Compher, Carl Soderberg.
Hold up. Those two, the last two. One, I got a bone to pick with Tyson Jost just for taking 27. You know why.
I do know why. I think I know a certain pair of fists that have something to say about that.
I mentioned it to Scott Parker, and he was really cool about it. He was like, I hope for that number being put back out there is that he gets some blood on the jersey. So,
well, you know what? Playing for this team, he very well might.
So him and Comfort,
it'll probably be his own blood,
right? Him and Comfort, they're hoping a lot out of those dudes.
They are. And speaking of,
Jost was great in the World Juniors last year. I mean, he was a fucking stud. I don't know the other kid, but Jost can do it.
Yeah, and speaking of young studs, they just signed Alex Kerfoot, another center. He was a Hobie Baker finalist, so I mean, maybe they're just hoping that these young kids, maybe they're expecting to suck for the next few years, and then all of this young talent will just gel and then be something in a few years. I don't know.
Hey, why not? All right, keep breaking it down.
All right, so Mikko Rantanen, keep him. Probably. I mean, he led the team in goals last year, so
yeah, gotta keep him.
Gotta keep him. Nail Yakupov. I think almost everybody in the hockey universe forgets that he's even on this team.
Dude, I had read about him earlier because I podcasted earlier with the Blues, and I forgot that dude was real.
I know. Do you remember when the Jackets stunk the year that he was going to go first overall, and how much savior he was supposed to be for whoever drafted him, and all of Blue Jackets Nation was just crushed when we didn't get the first overall pick in the lottery and we couldn't draft Yakupov, and he ends up going to Edmonton. I mean, okay, so we end up with Ryan Murray, and say what you want about him, but
I'll say this about him. I like Ryan Murray, dude.
I do too. I'm one of the few people who actually does like him.
Yeah, there's not many of us.
But it's almost like if we had drafted Nail Yakupov and it turned out to be this way anyway, with him going to, just stinking up the joint and going to Colorado, that would be the most Blue Jackets thing to ever happen.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that we dodged that bullet to me is incredible.
That's we don't dodge many of them.
Now he's on the Avalanche it's like he's not even really a has-been. He's a never was.
No, and you mentioned Soderberg too. I dig him too.
As a depth guy, he'll do, but whatever. So all right, so here's our shining defense.
Ugh.
Tyson Barrie, Eric Johnson, Eric No Knees Johnson, Nikita Zadorov, Mark Barberio, Duncan Siemens, Andrei Mironov is supposed to come over from Russia and
he ain't going
maybe
to
help.
He ain't going
Chris Begraw, he's had a cup of coffee. Anton Lindbergh, David Warsofsky, and Mason Gertson, who I think is from San Antonio.
None of those fucking dudes are people I know.
Dude, like not even serviceable.
No.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're never gonna be anything, but these are not the guys you want.
Fuck, that's rough.
I mean that is straight up Swiss cheese.
If you're playing netminder right now, you're going, fuck me. This is gonna be a long year.
I mean, I think in goal, the only thing that the Avs are banking on, what they have to be banking on, is that Semyon Varlamov returns to form when they won the Central.
Yep.
And he played like freaking 82 games straight and won almost all of them. I mean, that dude was just stopping an uncountable amount of pucks.
It's
way more than he should have.
It's not unheard of, man. I mean, people were selling on Brovowski, and he came back and won another Vezina. So it's not unheard of for a goaltender to lose his mind for a little bit. So he could do it. I mean, he's shown that he can do it.
Yeah, he's shown that he can, but I think that the difference between Varley and Bob is
a lot.
it is a lot, but I feel like between Bob's Vezina seasons, there was less of a dip. Like Varlamov, to me, has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, I could see that, man.
So but no, I mean they're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. So
for sure, we got to trade Duchesne and see what happens for this team. They got to get something. They need a D-man bad.
Yeah, and I think that is like the biggest news of the Avalanche offseason is the news that didn't even happen, and that was Duchesne not being traded.
And he can't be happy. He's been on the trade block forever now.
I know, and I think it's it is kind of sad because he grew up a diehard Avalanche fan. He was an Avs kid, and then he got his dream of playing with the club that he loved as a kid. And when I think, if I were a professional hockey player, if I got to suit up for the Jackets, that would be an unfathomable dream.
Right.
But he, like you said, he's on the trade block for freaking ever now.
Yeah.
And it's time to just pull the trigger. I think his stock is dropping by the day. I don't know if Sakic is hoping that he has an incredible rebound season.
He better be hoping that.
He's had, I think his two best seasons are a 68-point season and a 70-point season. Like, other than that, he's been a pretty...
How many points did he have last year? Like 36?
Dude, not a lot.
I mean, you got to either pull the trigger or fucking you just got to trade him. That's all there is to it. And you're not going to get much of him because he hasn't produced.
Not at this point.
No, he hasn't produced, dude. Shane.
Yeah, his totals from last year, 41 points.
Right.
And he hit 70 points in 2014.
Yeah, dude.
Since then, it's been 55 and 59. I mean, I don't know what a change of scenery would do for this guy, but he's kind of a fair to middling guy, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who would argue otherwise, and that's fine. But he's not the guy that you want to build around for a cup. I mean, he needs to go to a team where he's like the second stud, the second tier stud,
Yeah. They gotta do something there, man. Send him to fucking New York. Let him die.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Like, I actually, like, as far as Sakic goes, he is either a dude who is like playing 3-tier chess and he's got everybody fooled, and then like one day he's going to pull these moves and everything's going to align, or he is just
a shitty GM.
really, really bad GM.
Right.
And right now he is definitely showing me that he's the latter.
Yeah,
because he's not making smart moves. He's not getting rid of Matt Duchene. The Ryan O'Reilly thing was a disaster.
Yeah.
So
not even not getting rid of Duchene, but just dragging him through this fucking bullshit, dude.
Yeah, man. Like you gotta at some point.
Enough's enough.
Yeah, he's a millionaire professional athlete, but he's still a human being. At some point, you got to feel bad for the guy.
Right. Well, this team is going to be dead last. Besides, maybe
that's where I have them. I have Vegas finishing ahead of them.
I do too, dude. And that's all you can say about him. All you can do is hope for the best. Shane, you're my man, dude.
All right, so I don't want to keep you if you got to run, but I came up with an analogy about this team. Can I rip it off for you?
Fuck yeah, bud.
All right. So the Avs are clearly in a rebuild, and in World War II, the U.S. and whoever else, I don't know if our allies were with us or not. I'm not sure, but we bombed Tokyo into oblivion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the city burned to the ground, and so U.S. wins the war, and then during the war, afterward, during the cleanup, I should say, there was really no place to put all the garbage, put all the rubble and just the pieces of building and all of this stuff. So what they did is they just piled it into, I think, the southern part of the city. And if there are any World War II historians out there who know that I'm wrong, please don't email me because I'm not going to read it anyway. And then it was this act, the act of cleaning up and piling all the rubble in one area, that actually unleashed what was termed a plague of flies, and just, really kind of wreaked havoc on the city. And, after that, they kind of figured things out, and they really got to be where they are today. And I used to live in Japan. Tokyo is a beautiful city. Anybody who's seen pictures knows that that's true. So I tell you that story to compare it to the Avs because they're not even at the plague of flies stage yet.
Oh,
I think they're still in the firebombing stage of rebuilding.
So they're just Hiroshima, just getting bombed right now.
Just getting started.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So whenever the plague of flies comes, then we'll know that it's starting to look up.
Good God. Well, that's on the brighter side of things, huh? Dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. This is the second or third time you've been on the Biscuit?
Yeah, third. The second, we had just the worst connection, and we kept getting cut off, so we kind of just ended it halfway through. But yeah, officially, it's the third time.
Hell yeah.
I love coming on the show.
Hey, it won't be the last time, bud. And again, I love the History of Hockey podcast. You guys have to make sure to go fucking listen to that. Where else can they find you, Shane?
On Twitter, the HOH Pod. There's a Facebook community, which is at the HOH Pod. I have an Instagram at the HOH Pod, but honestly, I don't really update that because I'm still kind of new to the Instagram game. But
my wife runs mine.
Other than that, the show History of Hockey podcast is on iTunes. It's on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, all the places you'd expect it to be.
And your Patreon's getting bigger, right?
Oh yeah. I can't. Wow, good call. Good catch on that. Yeah. if you guys want to check out the Patreon page, that's something you can do. That is,
and that's the thing. If the more they from $1 to $50, you get more incentives for the more money you can actually donate.
Right, exactly, and it's all like if you want to support the show as cheaply as possible, just leave me an iTunes review and a 5-star rating, because that. I'm not here to beg for money. I just want as much exposure to the show as possible. So if you can't donate, don't even sweat it. Don't think twice about it. Just go on iTunes, leave a review, leave William's show a review, leave the Biscuit.
Literally, guys,
leave 5 stars.
Yes.
Anything helps.
You don't know how much that does help out our podcast. It's just
it really does.
You can write it's cool.
Boost.
Yeah, you can write it's cool on here and just leave it 5 stars.
Doesn't have to. You don't have to write a novel. Just say love the Biscuit, love whatever. And but if you really believe in something and you want to support monetarily, I do have the Patreon page for that purpose, and as Billy Big Tits over there alluded to, the more you donate, the more incentives you get. So $1 is one thing, $5 is another reward, so on and so forth. And so that's it. Patreon / the HOH Pod. I think that's my link. I probably should know that.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And if it's not, just go to patreon.com and search the History of Hockey podcast. And I guess that's it. I guess that's where you can find me.
Shane, when was the last time you took a float?
Dude, okay. First of all, never. Secondly, I want to so badly.
Well, I know the perfect place to do it, Shane. It's called Lucid Float Spas in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Not even 45 minutes north of you, bud. You go there.
Outstanding.
Why wouldn't you want to feel better?
Exactly. I'm with you.
You're dragging around the shitty body all day. Take it into that fucking tank and relieve yourself. Don't relieve yourself, but fucking relieve yourself.
Take your bag of meat.
Don't go in there and start jerking off, but I'm telling you, you will feel so much better, dude. And right now, for all Biscuit babies, your first float is half off on the Biscuit. Go in there and tell Chad that. I highly, highly recommend it. You will feel fucking better. And if you're into a dude rubbing you down, I like having Chad give me a massage because he's a huge dude and I'm a big guy, and he can actually fucking work me out.
That's awesome because I'm built like a girl, and
He would make
probably
you
be into that.
He would make you feel like a girl, dude. He's a king. Shane, you're the man, dude. Go listen.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. Love being on the show. Love you, and all the best, my friend.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Party on.
All right, brother. See ya.
Bye. That was my main man, Shane Guilfoyle. You heard where to find him. You can find us at iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit. Freedom, hockey, the biscuit!